excited, honestly. I'm shaking.
I
Um,
hopefully we don't get canceled. Hopefully I don't get canceled.
Hopefully you don't get us canceled. And but more importantly, it's about time we are able to go live in front of the 14 subscribers that we have. This is something that I
Do we
want
have
to
14?
something like that. Let's look real quick. But
So there's seven last time I checked. So if it's 14, we must have had a lot of people share with each other.
well,
So we could double in size.
if one person shares with another person, we doubled in size. And so
Absolutely.
if everyone does that, which we ask you guys to do, if you find any value, and that's the key term right there, any value, not just oh that was the most valuable podcast I've ever listened to. No, no, no. If you get any little bit of value, they say that you can buy a
Join the journey.
yeah. I mean, it's just
Because it here's the deal. We're still figuring this out, right? I mean, obviously doing this kind of live, it's a little weird because there's like a minute, super small lag. So sometimes like when there's a little overlap, when we're talking and stuff. But yeah, we're see 7 subscribe. Wishful thinking,
seven
Drew.
subscribers.
Wishful thinking. But
But I'm just
we're
thinking
still
ahead. I'm thinking ahead.
right, right. And we're still figuring this out as we go. So bear with us, give us some ideas, give us some suggestions. But if you're happy with kind of the direction of this, join us because I was talking to Drew earlier too. The news, like tech news, it kind of sucks. I mean, I think Greg Eisenberg is good. And who's the other guy? Alex Finn.
No,
I think
I'm
that's his
honestly
name.
not up to date. I just know Greg. I only know of Greg.
And Greg's kind of like corner of the market. But then there's, like actual publications like Wired or TechCrunch. And it's just like, I feel like it's just like pop ups for peptides.
Yeah, there's definitely room in the market for someone like ourselves to actually change the game, which we plan on doing, and that's what we're doing here. Anyway, today, what are we talking about, Chad? Most importantly, we're going to be talking today about Abacus AI. Chad, do you want to talk a little bit, just intro it a little bit on what it is, and then we can actually get into it.
Yeah. So the actual nuances of it, I mean, it's relatively similar to any other LLM. But what makes this the coolest, in my opinion, is on there you have the option to basically you go into what's called Deep Agent, which probably just burns more coins. And it allows you basically browser use. So with that browser use, it will literally open like a Google Chrome screen. And I told it, for example, I was having trouble with Facebook ads because Facebook ads just are the biggest pain in the ass. And, I couldn't figure something out. So I go into browser use, I pop in my password. How secure is that? I have no idea. Do the two-factor authentication. I could take over the mouse and go into it. And it just started to, I mean, it fixed it. It was prompting itself. I mean, it was the most agentic AI that I have seen and continue to see. And this came out a while, like I've been using it for maybe like 45 days, um, just about, but
Yeah.
it's crazy. And I think tools like this are not far away at all across the board. Have you
Yeah.
used it?
I've not used it. I've not used it. I've only heard about it. You've told me about it a little bit. And one thing I want to tie a bow on this because what I noticed in AI is that a lot of people say a lot of different names, and for me, I'm like, oh, Claude, Opus, and OpenAI, ChatGPT, you know, O4 model, whatever, all these different things. And it's just like, what do they do or what did they do for me? And so the big thing here is AI isn't about the tools that you use, it's about speeding up your process, right? And not just speeding up your process anymore, but actually doing the work for you. So it's like, oh, it might not do it in 20 seconds, but if it takes 20 minutes to do, and you don't have to do it, that's way way better than, and it does it well. I mean, we're on a whole different world, but businesses that make better decisions faster will dominate. Money loves speed. We've all heard it many times, right? So the shift that has just recently occurred is AI has moved where work actually happens. So one thing that I was thinking about this past week, and we're gonna go into
What does that
abacus
mean?
here. Yeah, we're gonna go into
AI has
abacus.
moved where work
Yeah.
actually happens. What does that mean? I guess I
So
was.
so no longer are we no longer. Well, I'll take it for an example. Search. Search is no longer just on Google. Now they obviously have Gemini, but it's not just on Google. Now it's on other platforms. Has it moved? Has the whole world tectonically moved over? No, but it is. Work can be done outside of Google now, right? But it's no longer something
Like
you log
be
into.
specific.
Yeah,
I'm not tracking. Like what do you
yeah.
mean work can be done outside Google?
So like it says here, it's like AI is no longer something you have to log into. Okay, it can live inside your browser, like you're talking about with Abacus,
I see what you're
or
saying.
yeah, or Perplexity had Comet, Claude. Now, for me, I have it like I have it outside my browser as well. But it's like where can I research, compare, and make decisions all in one place? I don't have to go into. I don't have to log into my browser necessarily, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think what you're saying, if I'm understanding this right, is that it's becoming less sovereign, maybe in the sense that it's developing and it's going to be more and more with us as technology progresses, and perhaps to an extreme, but like brain chips and stuff like that, like wearables. So basically, getting outside of just a website and integrated more into hardware, other pieces of software. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah. So it's not just going on to I mean everyone opens up their browser and go or opens up their computer and goes to Google or goes to Microsoft Outlook or they go to these different things, but you don't even have to go on to these things anymore. They live on like like I said, Comet, Abacus, Claude browser, like they they are with I mean you said it perfectly. They are with you basically throughout the your browsing cycle. When I'm on my
Hmm.
computer, Claude is still open doing its thing. Oh, if you use Abacus or if you use the, which you're going to go through here in a second, which I don't fully understand yet what Abacus is, but I can infer that it's like the Claude browser or Comet for Perplexity, where it's like in the browser with you. It's going through all these things with you.
Yeah. Um, there was one, I think Google, what is it called? Google Live. So it was part of the, Google, what do they call it? Google Studio or whatever, where AI
Yeah.
Studios on there. But they had one, it was really interesting because I thought it was live in the sense of like how we're live now. But what it seemed to be is that it's basically like, how on ChatGPT you can flip it around like on video and be like, hey, how do I fix this sync or
Yeah.
whatever, and it could see it. So basically, what this was, it was like a screen share. So I was trying to figure out how to do
Yeah.
something, and I'd say, well, where do I click? And it's like, oh, well, click this, type this, whatever. So it was that kind of live feedback loop. It was a little glitchy, um, but I think we're gonna see that more and more. Really, I mean, what would you call it? Embedded products, embedded integration. Um,
Right.
yeah. So
I mean, I think there's going to be a time when we don't need to be on like I've talked to you about this as well. It's like I don't know if we are going to be the ones on the internet. Why would we need to be on the internet when we can go into ChatGPT and ask it any question, and not even just ChatGPT, but because I don't use it as much anymore. But like with Claude, it's like I go into Claude, I'm like, hey, these are all the things I need to get done today, and it puts it in your calendar. These are all the text messages I need to send to these people, and it sends it. Um, I need to write this paper for my English test, and it writes it. Like, why are you on the internet in the first place? Most of the time, it's to do work, right? Most of the time, it's to
well,
yeah.
I don't know if you want the answer to that question from a lot of these people, but
I
um,
mean,
I,
I
I
mean, but
I think to your point, because I hear what you're saying in the sense of like it's going to figure out what it's going to take. You're going to give it the macro, and it's going to figure out the steps to get there. I'm going to push even a little bit more and say, I think we're going to start seeing sooner than later. Hey, you need to do your home, or you need me to do it's going to give us the to-do list and then say, am I good to do it? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's yeah, I think I can definitely see that. I think that that's a little bit like dystopian in my opinion. Like it could definitely happen. But it's like at some okay, so where does the autonomy for me, this is my thought, and this is sort of a side quest, but like where does the autonomy start and end for a human when it's like because you could argue people are not autonomous as is. Like you wake up, you go to your 9 to 5, you do the job that your 9 to 5 asks you to do, and then you come home and then you have 95% of your actions today are the same that you did yesterday. So it's like, are you really autonomous? Okay. But when AI comes in and says, hey, based on your 9 to 5 job, these are all the things that you need to get done. I can do them for you and get them done. And you say, okay, go do that. Does the job even need you anymore, or do we just get the AI agent to do it? Like, why would a boss not be like,
Yeah.
oh, what do we need to get done today? And it gives me like 50 different things that you would have done, and now you're done. Now you're out of it.
Right, right. It in an enterprise solution, context, I don't know how that's going to work. I think there's going to be a lot of security issues. We're seeing stuff like Verizon just had a huge outage, and they're
Yeah.
claiming it wasn't a hack, but bullshit.
Why else would it have gone
And
out?
exactly, exactly. Especially with everything that's going on right now with like Iran and whatever else is going on. But I think, you had mentioned like earlier, off camera, kind of this like agentic COO. I think it's even going to be like an agentic CEO. And then you're going to see really just more and more small businesses rise, especially, kind of in that Z generation.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting, and I think that we need to create. I mean, Claude did it. I talked about this on the last podcast, where Claude literally had a vending machine, and well, the company Anthropic had a vending machine, and Claude ran it, and basically it was like the first fully
Yeah,
AI
yeah. You did
business,
talk about that.
right? And I was just like, that was sick. So, uh, let's get back on track. Compressed thinking. So, Abacus AI browser reads the internet for you, compares the sources, summarizes contradictions, outputs decisions, not links. So this replaces the mental drag, not the human judgment. So the idea here
Mhm.
is that we get rid of all the things that humans don't need to be doing that sort of just built up over time, and then you can start making more decisions and less busy work.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think so. Full disclosure, I haven't used the AI browser yet. I think it's kind of on track with what we're saying and where it's going. I think and I know earlier I'd said browser use. This is different, from my understanding, than the AI browser, than the browser, because browser use is where it controls it. You give it the mission, it figures out how to do it. This seems more like, and I might be wrong, Drew, but this seems more like a companion, like a sidekick,
Yeah.
who is like sitting right next to you.
Right. Yeah. The whole idea with for me and obviously like Elon and Jensen Huang and Lucky, all these people are doing like real things in the world with AI, right?
Hmm.
Like building robots, building implants, building chips that go into the AI, data centers, drone warfare, all these things. I'm not really that interested in that for myself. For me, I'm like, well, how do I get all this busy work done so that I can like, you know, spend time with my wife or go hang out or read a book or like do things that I actually want to do. That's sort of where we're coming from. And so for me, an AI browser or an AI companion is something I'm really interested in, and this is something I'm going to be doing with Claude. Like I'm really going to test this next like 7 to 14 days, where Claude is going to do all my work for me. So it's like text messages,
How does it do?
spreadsheets.
It'll how does that work? Like, you mean like it'll draft a text message?
It'll these are the five people I need to get in contact with, draft a message and send it to them.
It'll send
It'll
it?
do it. It'll do it. Yeah.
Huh. I didn't know that. How do
Yeah,
you do that?
on the app. So it's not on the web browser, it's on the app. So on your phone, it has access to so many things, dude. Like so many things. I mean, I'll show you right here.
So I'm trying to post this all over X to get us some people in here.
Um, join the hangout. But like, okay, so you see Claude right here. Afternoon,
Hmm.
Andrew. So you go here and you go to add connectors, and then it has all these. So read and send iMessage, Figma,
Oh wow.
Desktop Commander, Google Chrome. So like this is actually really interesting. So the Google Chrome thing is interesting. Why is OpenAI, why is Perplexity, why are all these different companies creating their own browsers? Why are they not just integrating with Google already? You know?
Yeah.
I think it's like an interesting like dichotomy. It's like do we make our own, or do we just join the, I call him the 1,000 pound gorilla, but maybe they can't because or Anthropic has already done it. Um,
What do
control
you
your
mean?
Mac,
They've done what? The integration?
yeah, integrated with Google. I mean I wouldn't see that being like a viable option for like OpenAI now that Claude has this.
Hmm.
And that 216,000 people are using iMessage, and like it's actually really crazy that, and this is something I'm really going to be focusing on like the next like 14 days.
Right.
um I'm in Stripe. It has where was it Tableau in here. It has Google Chrome, like I said, but I mean it just has so many in here. So my idea here is like I don't want to have to send any text messages anymore. I don't want to have to. I mean, you can scrape websites on here, extract data from any website, make Excels, all this stuff. Spotify, control Spotify. Like, why do
There
we
you
need a
go.
phone? Why do we need a phone?
Look, we're getting some responses on X. I got three favorites already. I posted in a group, except my name on there. It's Chino Perez. So they
There you
say, "Good
go.
luck, Chino. Content looks
Go,
great."
go
But
follow Chino. Go follow Chino on.
so it's at Chad Carot, Chad underscore Carotis. But the I don't know if I should change it or not. But I'm getting really insecure about it, about the yeah, Google ability of it.
um, which we're actually going to talk about here in a second about the SEO. But just to like put a bow on it, I like to do. AI, and we need to continue. Repetition is persuasive, and so it's like we need to replace the mental drag that is currently taking place in the workforce. Like the 9 to 5 worker is wasting so much time on the mental aspect of it, not even like the work part of it, but the mental aspect of it. And AI is here to the AI is here to allow you to make more decisions, less thinking, less like mental like waste, if that makes
Strain.
sense.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And I think it also is able to bring perspective. So it's able to be, kind of like a sounding board, provide different ideas. And even if the suggestion or the idea that it provides, you don't 100% implement, it gives you some structure and some foundation to lift, ideas, directions, next steps, and how to do things. So I think that's another key important thing. Like, how do I do this?
yeah. The key insight here is if you can think faster, your company should be able to as well. So once AI accelerates thinking, it belongs across the organization, not just with the founders. So this is actually interesting because I see this a lot in these books that I read, and it's like the founder has like unlocked something in their brain where they're just like, whether it's like whether they unlocked yoga or like ayahuasca or whatever it is, or just a new way of thinking, they've unlocked this
Mhm.
idea, and or they've invested in technology, but their company is
Ayahuasca.
yeah, ayahuasca AI. That is that even is that a company right now?
Who the hell knows how to spell ayahuasca?
Oh, I was close. AYAHUASCA. Does someone have that domain yet?
Ayahuasca.ai. Oh, our Lewis and Clark.ai. I need to
Yeah.
start pushing some stuff out there.
Yeah, we need to get it set up, but yeah, no one has that yet. But anyway, the too many times the founder finds an unlock or the founder finds an insight and it doesn't go across the company. This allows AI allows um, ideas to spread a lot quicker through the company. And we talked about this a couple of podcasts ago about the knowledge base of a company, how you can put that into like a chat GPT, or there's new companies popping up all the time with this knowledge base idea, where it's like if we have Sacagawea for us, but it's like if you have this operating system and you can have company employees ask or talk to this knowledge base, then it's getting real time answers that you as a founder would probably be giving them. And that's a one example of how you can spread this knowledge across a whole company using AI. Um,
Now, I I think so. Is what you're talking about? Is it the idea of like replicating yourself in the sense of like, if I want to ask Drew a question, I can ask Drew a question without asking you a question. Does that make sense?
yeah, I think replicating yourself is definitely a good way of thinking about it. It's not necessarily replication; it's also the replicating the benefit as well. It's like I learned that someone's like I learned this new note taking strategy and it's been able to save me thousands of hours of like just by simply bulleting this document a little bit different or whatever. It's like now we can literally we can make our OS only spit out information in this new note taking format that works for you, right?
Or your
That's just an
company?
yeah.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
That's
So
just
I'm
an
trying to think of
example.
like a practical, I'm trying to think of a practical application. Like, let's do your favorite thing, a good old plumbing company.
Yep.
How would you implement that into middle America business?
I think the beauty of a service company like that, a home service company, is that you don't need as much AI SaaS infrastructure as you would at like an actual tech company, right? If everyone's on the computer, then we need to make sure that we have like a different, like we need to make sure that we have a very robust infrastructure. But if you're at a local plumbing company that's doing like 1 mil or less a year and you have like 4 or 5 employees that are out in the trucks every single day, all you need to do is get a COO or like an office manager who's managing the schedules and all that stuff, and they can use AI to do that much faster, right? And so it's way easier to pull that lever a lot harder than you would if you were like, let's re-update the spreadsheet manually, or like
Yeah,
let's like
right.
let a human being do the schedules every single week or whatever. It's like why would you even take the time to do that anymore? You need one person that's in charge of all these things that uh, that puts in AI where it needs to go. You don't need to use AI just for the sake of using AI, but you putting it in where you can like save 10x the amount of time um, that you would be spending on just simple manual tasks, and then that way you can start making decisions as opposed to doing manual work.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the bottleneck is definitely going to be not so much well, obviously the implementation of it, but also the adaptation of it. And we've talked about this before, but I think that's going to be really interesting, and I think that's where the lag is going to develop, kind of
For sure.
between those who use it and those who don't. I think it'll be interesting because the market will favor money favors efficiency, markets favor efficiency, and the companies that are more efficient will be able obviously to have better margins, profitability, and hopefully, in a lot of industries it's not a race to the bottom, but instead, a better customer experience and more optimized profits for said company implementing it. But I think, kind of to your point about like someone overseeing all of it, I think that's going to be a role that we start to see in organizations is like, what would you call that, like an AI administrator, someone who their job is based, to connect everything, perhaps do some training, to the employees and everything, and continuous CI or continuous improvement. So that'll be interesting to kind of see how that's like my favorite line. It'll be interesting, but
Yeah.
it really will. And that's, obviously we talk about it's the gold rush. That's why we're the pioneers.
Yeah, I think one thing I've said across the last two episodes is that business practices are still the same. Like, you know, keep costs low. Invest in technology, invest in people, hire A players, not B or C players. Right? It's all the same. It's all the same.
Same
However,
fundamentals. Yeah.
yeah. However, now you have AI that can, I call it the force multiplier. So it's like instead of having, back when telephones were a thing or cell phones were a thing, like half had cell phones, half didn't. The ones who had cell phones were able to move a lot quicker. Not like by like 2 or 3 times, but like 100 times quicker than someone who had to run back to the plumbing headquarters and tell them that you know their schedule changed. Right? No, he could just call them,
Right.
which would save an hour of time and probably $1,000, $2,000. But the cell phone was a force multiplier. Now we have AI that you don't have to have a person do it anymore, right? So it's not. So now it's like the schedule changes. Instead of you, Chad, having to go in and look up the schedule and seeing, oh, I got an alert, what changed, and now I have to go call Jimmy, who's on his way to the job, and his next job is across town. No, no, our AI was able to get a schedule for Jimmy that made sure that this job is right next to this job, and this job is in this general area, and then Tommy over here had his area, his region, and things changed really quickly, and he immediately got an alert that this one wasn't happening now, and we're going over to this one, and this is how much money he would save if he took this route. Like it's a whole different world now. But like I said with the cell phone, it's like half are doing it, half are not, and now we're in a situation where it's like 1% are doing it and 99% aren't. So it's like you're welcome. You're welcome for the podcast, because right now it's like you have an opportunity to accelerate this, to have a force multiplier, which is the new role of CEO that you're talking about. And this role just creates more velocity, more less time to do things, more efficiency, and less people. Right, so you don't need a
Yeah.
big headcount.
It's leverage ultimately, right? And I think it's almost like a 1 to 10 ratio. So every employee you hire really should be 10 in the sense of their abilities and their capabilities with AI. So yeah, I mean, to your point, I think just keep learning about it. Like you cannot know enough about this because it is not going anywhere.
Yeah. I think right now we are in a situation where people think that in order to scale, I need to hire more people, right? I need to hire more people or create more systems in my company, in my business, right? But I think the idea here is that AI doesn't require you to have more people to do more. You can do more with less people, and like I have right here, speed scales revenue, headcount doesn't. By definition, hiring even if it's an A player, let's switch it over to electricians. Okay, so instead of plumbing, we're now in electricians. Uh,
Mhm.
we're in the electricity business. um, but basically, instead of hiring another electrician, because this area over here is not being serviced, instead of hiring an a electrician, we don't need. There might be room in our company for more efficiency. So Chad's out in this area quite a bit, but he keeps having to come to the other side of town to do, one job or two jobs at the end of the day. No, no, we'll keep Chad there, and he can do four jobs there as opposed to two over here, and we'll just have Rodney on his on his day off. We'll give him a half day or something like that, whatever, right? But like AI can help you with these situations, give you all the information, and then you can make a decision.
Yeah, it that to your point, like the dispatch management stuff like that.
Yep.
Because right now, people are like, well, how do I use ChatGPT for dispatch management? I don't know. I think that's where the opportunity, though, for people with specific industry knowledge who know specific industry bottlenecks can come in and just wrap this shit in a pretty wrapper and plug and play, because it's gonna it need that facilitation, a to figure out where AI can be leveraged the most, but then b, like, the specific application of it. And I've said this time and time again, is the taste is going to be important, in the sense of, like, people need to know what to build, and you can only get so far, getting some, like, customer feedback on Reddit. So I think people who have had boots on the ground in specific industries and see the need, I think that's really where the opportunity is. But yeah, to your point, I mean, it's just gonna it leverage.
Yeah, I think the more I think about this and the more we do these episodes, I realize how early it is. Like it's so early,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
and for me, it's like it's not even it's like it's not an awareness thing because like we went to the Jags game the other day, and like if you went to anyone in that bar and was like, "Hey, ChatGPT, do you know what ChatGPT is?" They're like, "Yeah, I've heard of it," right? The
Yeah.
and again, I would say 90% of people there, and this is a younger crowd, but 90% of the people there know what ChatGPT is, right? How
I'd
many
say,
of
yeah,
them?
90, 95, 90, 98. But
Yeah,
keep going.
but how many of them can tell you what it is in like a small, like a succinct sentence? Most of them would probably be like, "Oh, it's like Google," right? No, no,
Yeah.
okay, cool, got it. But it's like, oh, it would it's AI, or it would be a very generic, not 100% correct, not 100% wrong type of answer. And to me, that's a very good indication. Um, Side note, in the Big Short, when he was like, for the 2008 housing crisis, he said he knew something was wrong when strippers had two houses and like three cars. He's like, I knew something was wrong, right? It's the same thing. It's like we're in a situation right now where no one knows about it. We're on the other side of that where no one knows about AI. No one's using it. No one's like actually at a certain point where they're overusing it. So everyone who's like, "Oh, everything's AI generated now," it's like, no, that's just what you're seeing. Because like
Yeah.
500 or 600 people in the entire world are using it at scale. So we're very early, and there's a lot of opportunity. And my goal is to take advantage of it and to make as much money as possible from it.
And to clarify what you were saying earlier, you had said not a lot of people are using it. A lot of people are using it, but not a lot of people are using it to both the maximum capability, as well as, I mean, yeah, really just like the maximum capability, in specific applications, because people don't know. It can literally do everything. And, it's like you get a wish. Like, what do you wish for? After a certain amount of wishes, you're going to run out of wishes. So I think that's where, again, prompting and things of that nature, asking the right questions, are going to be more valuable than ever.
Yeah. Um, Overall use, more than half of American adults have used AI in the past 6 months, with nearly 1 in 5 using it daily. So 1 in 5 using it daily.
Ah, that's a lot less than I thought.
20% of the United States of adults are using it daily.
Yeah, I mean, that's That's interesting. That is interesting. And I wonder how that compares because like I was born in 97. When were you born? You were born in 95.
94, yeah.
So, the internet was, I mean, like I remember, like dial up and stuff like that, but I think we were too young to see the application in the workforce in the business world because I'd be curious to see how it compared to AI because obviously there's a lot of, I mean, direct parallels lay over, similar skepticism, similar optimism, similar opportunities to make money. But I would be interested to see yeah, like the adaptation comparison.
Yeah, for sure. Awareness versus actual use. A survey found that while only 33% of people think they use AI, over 77% actually use an AI powered service or device, such as virtual assistants, spam filters, or streaming service. So 33% of that 33%, 77% are actually using like Siri or Alexa, right? Um, Pace of adoption, generative AI adoption, currently around 54% in the US adult workforce as of August 2025, is significantly faster than that of the personal computer. Okay.
Oh,
So,
interesting.
yeah, or the internet. Um, which is what you were
So
talking
that,
about earlier. Yeah.
yeah. So generative AI, 54% in the US adult workforce.
Faster
Yeah,
than
and
the
then
internet.
internet's 30. So mm, almost double.
But it's like one of those things, right? So like the internet is like a clear thing. I am on the internet, right? Using AI is a little bit different because there's obviously different types of AI. Like ChatGPT is different than Claude Code or different than like an AI agent, right? And so it's like technically if I use, like it said, if I use Siri or Alexa, I'm technically using AI, right? Um,
Right. Well, Siri is the dumbest AI ever. But but beside the point, I mean, I think it's noteworthy in the sense that like the quick adaptation because for the internet, like how did you find out about the internet? Again, don't really remember, but I'd have to imagine talking to people, the news, TV, and kind of those traditional means of spreading information. I think AI is a little bit different because information spreads like that now. Obviously through social media, through all the means of spreading information, as well as learning more about it. So I wonder the correlation there, because I think what will be the more telling statistic will be um, what would that be like the speed of the growth, like basically just kind of looking at that chart, like the internet versus
yeah.
AI adoption and kind of the speed to that, because I'm wondering if like it's kind of like it's what I'm saying, like it's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
almost plateau a
Plateau.
little bit, or have a more subtle um positive direction, but
I
I
think,
don't
yeah,
know.
but obviously you stand on the shoulders of giants, right? So because of the internet, AI's been able to go faster, right? Obviously, because before the internet, it would have to go through newspapers, which is obviously slower than reading it on, the internet or seeing it on socials, right? So obviously, AI is going to be adopted faster than the internet. Um, but the interesting thing about this is that for me, it's like I said already, the internet was one thing. You get on a computer, you click AOL, it takes forever to start up, but then you're on the internet, right? So everyone who went through that is on the internet. Good job. But you can use AI in so many different ways, and the one thing that I think that drove adoption so much, and people are calling it the OpenAI overhype, is because of OpenAI. Like as soon as ChatGPT dropped, everyone's like, "Oh, AI is just like the future," which it is. But like, based on what? Based on what? Like, what is your perception of AI that makes you think it's going to be the future? And it was like, oh, like, and and these numbers back it up. Common uses: information seeking. So that's what people use ChatGPT for. Answer my question, right?
Right.
A general AI assistant use case is the most common use. Okay. Communication. Draft this email for me or this other document. Write it for me. Right. And then personal
What do you
organization. Yeah.
what's the strangest way you use AI?
No, I was actually going to ask you the exact same question. Well, I was going to ask you what is a common use that's not on here that you use it for every day. But strangest use for AI, I actually don't. I don't use it for anything strange, to be honest with you. I literally make like spreadsheets. I literally do all the things that I don't want to do. I make spreadsheets on there. I make. I use Midjourney for cool pictures and stuff like that. Claude for everyday tasks. Send text. I honestly, I'll be honest. I haven't used the text message feature yet. If you get a text from me, it's not from me anymore. Um, yeah, every morning I'm gonna be like, hey, at like two p.m. text Chad the link for the podcast. Boom.
There you go.
Um,
Give Chad
there's
a compliment every day.
yeah, there's nothing really that crazy that I use it for. What about you?
Probably taking pictures of my shit.
Ah, I mean I can already see why you would do that.
It is very helpful, especially, because it's 100% my medical advisor, whether, it's supposed to be or not, I
Right.
mean, I see doctors Googling shit all the time. But I think this is better in the sense of like, I'll diagnose myself with cancer if I over Google, but with AI, it'll kind of put some parameters on like, all right, you're being a little dramatic here, but I think it's gonna
You
do a
use
lot.
ChatGPT for that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But I think it's gonna do a lot for healthcare, just in the sense of like, peptides. We were kind of talking about peptides. I I would have never known what BPC 157 and CJC 1295 and isomorphorilin or whatever the hell it's called. Would not want to just inject these random scary things in my body. And the fact that I'm listening to like artificial intelligence and injecting random scary things that say not for human consumption in my body. I mean, to be determined. The body's a resilient piece of machinery. But it's cool because especially all the biohacking stuff, people are really going to be able to optimize their health. Surely you've used it for like health in some capacity, no?
Yeah, no, but I wouldn't consider that necessarily weird. The way you use it can be considered weird, but I get it. Um, I've used it to like create workout programs and stuff like that, and followed them, and
Yeah.
like they work.
Food,
Um,
workout. Yeah.
Everything. But going off what you said, like ChatGPT just released ChatGPT Health,
Oh.
um, which
Oh, now we
I
got
mean,
insurance. So it's an insur. I mean, because that insurance pain in the ass. But hmm. So for
yeah, but
those
I
who
mean,
can't see, tell us what's going on.
yeah, yeah. Good point. If you're blind, basically,
Or you're
well,
listening to this in your car.
basically, yeah, you wouldn't need to know about AI anyway. But ChatGPT Health, basically, the way I understand it is that it just links up to your health stuff on your mobile. So I don't know if they have this on
Oh,
Android, but on iPhone we have the Health app, and it ties into your Whoop or
like
your
the Nike
other your
thing, or yeah,
your Fitbit,
Fitbit,
yeah,
Aura
whatever
Ring.
it is.
Yeah.
It ties to that, and then you can use that data and put it into ChatGPT, and basically ChatGPT just remembers all of it. So one thing I think that OpenAI is doing is like they already have been able to do this. Like I've downloaded my Whoop statistics into ChatGPT many times and gotten full diagnostics, right? Um,
Yep.
which brings us to a whole nother thing is like, I mean, insurance companies and doctors are probably going to be out the window, but we'll see.
I don't know. I don't know if they're out the window, but I think there's going to be a lot of improvements in those process is. But it's interesting to see how ChatGPT is kind of doing this, because really, you were able to do this months ago. I mean, you just make a project folder, and upload your blood tests, your stats, your data, whatever you want in there. Um, so I don't know. I mean, honestly, this kind of freaks me out a little bit, because it's like, and I'm gonna get like conspiracy theorist on it, but like, mm, I, I, but I don't know, because I was gonna say, oh, well, data privacy, but at this point, I mean, I know data privacy is out the window. So, and do I really care if Apple or OpenAI or the
Right.
government? That's the only one I'm a little sus about, is the government. But
Well, that's what I'm
I don't really give a
saying,
shit
though. It's
if
like,
Apple knows my
yeah,
my blood test results.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Uh, but yeah, talking about the surgeons, like 3 years, Elon says 3 years, surgeons are going to be out the door. So, I mean, if you
That's
want to
going to
go
be
against
interesting.
Elon, if you want to go against Elon, put your money against Elon, then that's fine with me.
I mean, because you've seen, well, I have a couple things to say about this. So you've seen like the robots and stuff that, normally it's like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
surgeons playing a video game.
yeah.
Um, but to go a step further, I don't want to disclose too much about this, but someone who knows someone who happens to be a brain surgeon, um, was telling me basically like this brain surgeon has a drinking problem, would go to work drunk, like, and apparently that's way more common than you were led to believe, which is scary as shit, right? Because,
Join our newsletter. Join our newsletter to find out which hospital this is.
yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. But I mean, obviously, incredibly unethical, and that's horrible, and I hope that's not common practice. But I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's. I mean, you hear about drunk lawyers. I mean, once I mean, we don't need to get into all the nuances of that, but like, it, it's. I mean, a lot to think about there.
I mean, but like you just gotta get like we need to get over this idea of like humans are better than like everything else. It's like, bro, if I could tame a lion to go, if I could only hunt, and I had a lion pet, that lion is gonna hunt better than me, right?
That was
And
an interesting analogy. Yes.
right, I I'm trying to get less abstract and like way over there. It's like, wait, let me get on board real quick and figure out what you're saying. But like, would you rather have, I know it's another human, but it's like, would you rather have, me make your coffee for you, or would you rather have a robot that can perfectly measure each and every cup to your specifications?
Right.
Oh yeah, but I don't have
Right.
the human touch. It's like you wouldn't know any different. If I gave it to you and you're like, "Wow, this is the best cup of coffee I've ever had," I'd be like, "Oh, I didn't make it." You wouldn't care. You wouldn't be like, "Oh,
Right.
spit it out." You wouldn't do that. So like,
I think. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
so like if we have a surgeon, like this is why it's like, oh, I don't trust robots to do. Why? Why would you trust a flawed human being who? Why did it take him so long to learn how to do this? It took him like 20 years to learn how to do surgery, and now he's gonna. And I think we've talked about this where it's like, oh, it's his daughter's birthday today, and he's missed the last three birthdays, and uh, he needs to hurry the surgery up a little bit so he can get through his
Yeah.
daughter's birthday. It's like, bro, I don't want anything else on this person's mind other than getting me home
Right.
safe. And
I mean, I mean, think
as
about.
much as we think as much as we think that schools are preparing these doctors so perfectly, come on, come on,
There's exactly the element of human error, and even emotions. Maybe they're going through a divorce.
right,
Maybe they lost a
right.
parent. Maybe that. I mean, there's a million different things that can impact performance. And shit, maybe they were throwing the football with their 10-year-old son, and they kind of hurt their wrist a little bit. And it there's the most minor things that you know can cause these complications and stuff. So I think our lifespan is going to be like, if you're under 35 right now, what would you say like the average lifespan is going to be for people who are under 35 right now?
What do I think the average lifespan is going to be for them? I think it will go up, but I don't think it will go up that much until like we have to hit a certain like threshold before it goes up. And then the question is like, do we even want it to go like do we actually want to eliminate death? I don't know necessarily like metaphysically if that's a smart thing to do. You know what I mean?
I don't disagree with you, and I think the elimination of it. I heard someone else say that, like, "Oh, we're gonna live forever." I don't know about that, but like, can we squeeze out an extra 20, 30 years? I
Right.
believe in the future of medicine and technology enough. Um, Actually, Drew, see if you can pull up like a life expectancy chart, like over the past 100 years, because I'd like to kind of see, you know, certain things over, over certain decades. Because I'd have to assume, like, the internet has surely helped with people's health to some level. I mean, I know it's been damaging in some senses, but um, I mean, yeah, that's pretty.
Over the last 100 years, global life expectancy has more than doubled, rising from about 32 years old in 1900 to over 70 years by the early 2020s.
That's pretty crazy. So now
Look
just
at
pour
this.
fuel on that fire, right? So you're 30, I'm 28. So in 40 years, you're gonna be 70, and I'm gonna be 68. It's
We'll
like,
still
hold
be
on,
doing
wait.
the podcast, so
Uh,
make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We're here forever.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. No, we're gonna be yeah, we're not going anywhere. Um, but if robots are doing surgery in 3 years, in 30 years, in 40 years, that I mean,
Right.
like I can't, I truly cannot even comprehend what that's gonna look like.
Look
And
at
that's all I have to say about
1920
that.
though, or 1990 or 1918. This is when the flu epidemic happened. Like, look at that drop.
And then let's do 2020. So that compared to COVID,
Yeah, this is COVID right
which
here.
yeah, which was kind of just like this. And then
which which
so for
which
those
we
who
believe is 100%. We believe that it is 100% real, and nothing was everything was honestly portrayed by the media. Anyway, no,
yeah,
but no, but
yeah.
to your point though, to your point, um, I mean, and if you listen to people nowadays, you'd be like, "Whoa, everything's the life expectancy's going down or whatever." It's like in 1900, it was 32 years old. We're at 70
Yeah,
years
that
now.
is crazy.
I think we're trending up, guys. I think we're trending up. Um,
So like what was it in like 1940?
well, we can just
'Cause-
1940 was about 65 years old. 60, let's
Okay.
say 62.5.
Okay. So that's interesting because I see plenty of 80 somethings walking around, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so
Yeah, but
my
that's
my
anecdotal. To
bet's
be fair, that's anecdotal, but
125. Yeah, I mean it is, but like you got to look at the trends, like and be a little abstract.
yeah, I think improved nutrition. That's funny. Um, we for sure have cleaner water, more effective sewage systems. Like apparently Benjamin Franklin was the and obviously this is an AI podcast about that has a little tidbits of business in it, but I think I remember reading that Benjamin Franklin was actually the one that got um, the sewage system cleaned up a little bit around here. Because like you see those old movies of England where like the
Around there,
rats are
yeah.
on the street and there's like blood in
Yeah.
the streets from like cattle and all this stuff. It just looks horrible. It's like, hey, let's have a little bit more like awareness, Maybe like get all this stuff out of here. But
Yeah.
yeah, we digress a little bit. But yeah, basically we're gonna live forever by in 30 years, and the podcast will still be cranking. So make sure you guys are like, sharing, and subscribing.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else from the? Yeah, let's go through this real quick. But basically, to tie all this together, it's like when thinking gets cheap, execution wins. So one thing that I've been seeing is like, oh, AI is making your brain mush and all this stuff, and like it's making people dumber, and it's a net negative. Okay, people have said that about the internet as well, and or social media. It's like it's a net negative. It's
People
like
have said
okay,
that I mean, they said that about fucking calculators, you know, but
yeah,
it just your brain works different, you know, and maybe the same neurons or however the hell the brain works, um, you know, are different ones are being fired or working, but I know at least for me, and correct me if you disagree, but it like it's stimulating for me, and it's kind of fun because it is stimulating and it's creative. So if anything, I think it's triggered more like deeper thoughts, deeper awareness, more vast knowledge, and you know, ultimately greater capabilities. But I
yeah.
totally interrupted what you were saying.
Um, no, it's basically. I mean, it says right here. This is a little yeah, a little tidbit, but it's this started in your browser. It ends in your org chart. So basically, the idea is that you and I'll read the next part, but it's early movers don't just win; they redefine the rules. You can literally restructure, and I know that it's gonna. I think it's gonna come in from private equity, in my opinion. Lewis and Clark AI project, we could come into we could go into one of these plumbing companies, one of these HVAC companies, and we could literally redefine the rules and say, hey, we're implementing this Gen Z right here. Not no one's getting fired. Everyone's just getting optimized. Everyone's gonna actually get a raise out of here because we don't need to hire any more people. We're just gonna implement a couple AI fixtures here, a little, instead of talking to me, you're gonna talk to this uh, GPT OS right here, and we're gonna make our incoming calls a lot more automated so we can get these leads real quick, and everything's just structured through AI. It's literally redefining the org chart, redefining what a business even looks like from a structural standpoint. And
Yeah.
um, like it says here, when thinking gets cheap, execution wins. Can you actually execute that, or are you going to be there's three different camps here. There's one, it's like, no, we're going to absolutely not use AI at all. Okay, cool. May the chips fall where they may. May the chips will fall where they may. And then you have the people who are like, oh, we'll use it for like basic business. It'll write a paper for us, like we said on that other slide. Can you write this paper for me? Can you write this legal document for me? Can you give me the answer to this? And like it'll be used as like Google, right? But then you have the next layer where they actually implement it into their org chart, where they have someone who is actually running the AI systems in their business that allows them to save time, save money, increase revenue, and increase the amount of output, the force multiplier we were talking about. So say that all to say, it's like, who's going to be willing to redefine the rules, change the org chart? Who's going to be willing to do that? Those are the real entrepreneurs, in my opinion.
I think exactly. I totally agree. And even just a more boiled down, simple way to look at it, totally agree with the three camps. Think about like a protein shake, right? There are some people who refuse to drink it. Some people who drink it and don't work out. They might have marginally better results. And then there's the people who drink protein shakes and work out. And that's where you optimize, you know, you get the most juice out of the squeeze. And I think that's ultimately what you're saying is like, where does the most juice come from? And how do we most efficiently and effectively capture said juice?
Right. So all that, I think that's all I have. But that is, in essence, what we're talking about is like, and I think the first year of this podcast is just going to be showing examples of where AI can be used. Some, talk about Abacus very briefly today, but for me, I think we went off on a tangent in terms of what, like, the broader picture of this. It's not that it's just Abacus. It's not that it's just Comet or Claude browser. It's not just that. It is the fact that you need to be looking at AI as not just a nice to have or a new search engine, but it is actually something that can be utilized in your business as if you're utilizing people, right? Do we have any questions?
Yeah, we do actually. Um, so let's see. Mm, okay, so this one is from Sarah. She owns a boutique marketing agency in Jackson, Mississippi.
Wow.
Um, the issue
Big
is, I
market, big
know I need to
market.
there's a shoe for every foot. I know I need to write blog posts and emails to keep my clients engaged, but I stare at the blinking cursor for hours. I'm a good editor, but a terrible drafter. How do I use AI to get the ball rolling without sounding like a robot? I think that last sentence was the key there.
Mm. Yeah,
What
I
do you
think
think?
I think great question. Questions have gotten way better. Um
They've improved.
yeah, I think in order to write without sounding robotic, first of all, I use Claude. I don't use ChatGPT when I'm writing. Second, she said something great where she's a better editor than she is drafter. What she needs to do to keep the old noodle running is she needs to draft something, right? She needs to draft something on her own. This is something that changed the game for me. Instead of having to write all of it, you write one thing in your own words and what you actually want to say as if you were writing for that specific blog post, right? You write it yourself. Then you put it in the Claude and you say, is this 10 out of 10? Is this the best it could possibly can be? And it'll come back and say, oh, it's a 7 out of 10, it's a 6 out of 10, whatever it is. And then you say, okay, well, what? And then you have a conversation. What makes it a 6 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10? It'll probably already tell you, but once you say, okay, make the adjustments and give me a new blog post at X amount of words, like whatever words you want, at X amount of words, and make it can also make it sound like me. Ask me any questions that will help you write this even better, and it'll do its thing. Once it does its thing, put that in the archive, and now we can reference this every single time, right? And one
Hmm.
thing I've done, the next step of this, because I know she said she run a boutique marketing agency. The key here is let's take that one blog post and now let's create a content calendar for all platforms, and let's use that one blog post to come up with more ideas for other blog posts. So more ideas, and then from those blog posts, let's do tweets. Let's do scripts for short form. Let's do ideas for a pod. Like all these things, you can do all that from one blog post. So yeah, any if you guys want to see a video on that, leave it in the comments or put it in the chat, and I'll be happy to do a video on that. But great question.
Yes, that was a good question. And of course, if anyone does need help with this in real life within their business, Andrew and I are available to come in and help you do it. So,
Yes.
another thing that I would kind of say about that, Drew, is like, because I'm lazy, right? When it comes to this, because I like to be efficient and see how much yield I can extract from as little input as possible. So the idea of sitting down and writing a blog post now, I'm like, I remember 2015, you know? So what I would do is I would go on to ChatGPT, use the voice feature on there, and put in your AirPods and just start rambling to it. Okay, so I have this client. I know I need to write blog posts, and their social media kind of looks like shit, but I think I'm gonna start with blog posts for the SEO. And they sell shoes, and their shoes are made in Italy, and they do high top, just brain dump in there. And then you start to go into what Drew was saying, and you could even take that, back in a Claude to repurpose various versions of the content. But I think to go from 0 to 1, the voice is like the way to go.
Yeah, I think one thing that I've changed, one thing just to push back on a little bit what you said, one thing I've changed my perspective with is I'm lazy relative to what, right? Like I could be lazy compared to someone who gets up and writes for 2 hours every single day, right? If I get up and I write 2 hours for one day, and they do it every day for 365 days, I'm technically like 365, 365th as productive or as you know, what's the opposite of lazy?
Um,
um, hard
Ambitious, motivated,
hardworking,
hardworking.
hardworking as they are. So I'm still lazy, but I set aside like, and it's probably not gonna be 2 hours of writing. It'll probably be like 10 minutes, 15 minutes of writing. And you could even have, honestly, this is something else I've done. You could even have to make it a little bit more engaging and like make sure that every word that I put down is productive. Is have Claude ask you questions like, "Hey, I want to write an article about X. Ask me up to 8 questions about this one at a time." And I always say this: save my answers and then write and then put it all into a blog post that is 1,000 words when I'm done. And it'll ask me all these questions back and forth. And sometimes it'll push back and be like, wait, that doesn't make sense. You just said this, and this is what you're saying now. Which one is it? And I'll actually get really good feedback and really good articles from that.
Yeah, Claude does a better job, I feel like, of being more of a intellectual, what would you call that, sparring partner, in the
Yes.
sense that it'll push back a little bit more, whereas ChatGPT will just blow smoke up your ass. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and ultimately, when we say lazy, I think that's really just a euphemism for super smart and efficient, but a little self-deprecating to you know can't
Yeah.
be can't be named Chad and be an asshole. Um, okay, so let's see another one here. Okay, this is a good one. So Marcus, who is a freelance designer, he says, "I can't afford a lawyer on retainer." Who's this? Pirate.
This is well, this is Frank Gilbreth Sr., but Steve Jobs said this and Bill Gates said this. I will always hire a lazy person to do a difficult job because a lazy person will find an easy way to do it.
Right. Right. I mean, it's just, and I generally I spend more effort trying to find a way to do it easier than I do just doing it. But is what it is. But once you figure it out, you figured it out.
Right.
So okay.
And then you
So
build you
Marcus,
you create a system of you create a system or a process around how you found that, and then you have someone run the
exactly.
system or process. That is basically what a business is.
Exactly. Yes, they adapt that process, they refine it, etc. Okay. So Marcus is a freelance designer. He can't afford a lawyer on retainer. Clients send me 10-page contracts that I don't understand, or I need to send a contract but don't know what to include to protect myself. Question is, can I trust AI to review or write legal documents? I know my answer,
Um,
but what is yours?
so I wouldn't put it in. Well, you could do it. You could put it in ChatGPT and say, hey, go over this document. What do I really need to know about this? Are there any loopholes? Whatever the goal is, you could do that. You can do the same with Claude. Claude has Claude skills now, and so I trust it a lot more than I do ChatGPT. But then there are other AI products out there that are basically like, and I'll look it up here in a second. But I think one of them is Harvey AI. Um, and then I'm aware of some other projects that are going to be coming out that do this exact thing. But you can put them into Harvey AI is the big one right now, where it's basically your lawyer. It's an AI lawyer. You can do that, but you can start out with ChatGPT, and if it gives you like 15 different things, it's like, wow, this document is so riddled with loopholes, then you can do that. Or if you're just sending documents back and forth when it comes to like SOWs or MSAs, like scope of work or master service agreements, whatever it is, going back and forth, you can use like simple LLM to do that. But if you're like being sued, then you probably need to have like a more like higher, more robust system that you can trust more. But hallucinations are part of the game. It could hallucinate, so just you know tread lightly.
Yeah, I think treading lightly is important with it, and I think using it as a foundation instead of the end all be all. And where I think there's a lot of efficiency, at least right now, is kind of using it as that V1, and then having an attorney polish it. So if you want to make your standard contract, and you kind of want GPT to pump out what the nuances that you want included, and then you're able to hand it to an attorney, who in turn will, now it'll take him an hour as opposed to 10 hours, even though all they do is just use the same templates and, plug and play. But and that ultimately, I think, is what curbs that, because it kills me having to give $10,000 to an attorney. And it's like, okay, you went to a Google Drive and downloaded this because I knew you had this. And now I get it. Like, I get it that, it's an efficient process for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think especially if you want something more bespoke. Um, so yeah. You want another question?
Yeah, let's do one more question.
Okay. Um, Sorry. Man, we had a lot of people write in for 7
Yeah.
subscribers.
I mean, and just to show you guys or tell you guys, if you guys have any questions for us, leave it in the comments. We go through the comments. Don't email us yet, but go through the comments. Leave a question about AI, about your business. Basically, what we ask is that you state your name and who you are, your business, and what problem you guys solve, basically, and then tell us, what the big bottleneck is, or like what are you struggling with.
Yes. Okay, so I found one. This is actually a really interesting question. Um, so this is from Chloe. She owns a salon in New Hampshire, and
Big
she
market.
says, everyone's got hair, Drew. Well, more. I mean, I think I got to talk to AI about this, because I think I am starting to thin out a little bit. So,
It's the
oh,
podcast.
that
It's
that's
stressful. It's stressful stuff.
no, God, if we could make money from this would be like the coolest job ever. But we're still figuring out that latter part there. Um, okay, so her issue is, I feel like the salon down the street is stealing my customers. I don't know what they are doing differently, but their parking lot is always full. Her question is, how can I use AI to spy ethically on my competition? I think that's a really good question.
No, I think it's a great question. I'm looking up this post because I literally just saved an AI product that would work for this. But I mean, Claude does a great job. Um, you have to
How
do a
would you
little bit.
use Claude?
Yeah, you have to do a little bit more manual work, but Claude will literally you. I did this today actually. I screenshotted a competitor's Instagram, their last 15 posts, 20 posts, and I put it in the Claude. And then I went to Facebook, YouTube. I went to their different platforms, right? I sent it to them. Then I looked at their website and I said, well, what is their website? What does their website have that ours doesn't, right? From a
Hmm.
user perspective. Then I went into Facebook ads library and I said, okay, what ads are they running? And then there's another one that I obviously this is hair, so they're probably not operating at this level, but you could go into TikTok Shop and get analytics on companies and what they're doing in terms of influencers, in terms of how many of their influencers going live, and you can do all this stuff, right? So yeah, that's a little bit about also just defining like what do you mean what they're doing and I'm not, right? You think they're running
Yeah.
ads? You think they're running DM campaigns? Like what do you think they're running?
I think so. The way you kind of frame that is, look at it more at, at the infrastructure, at the
Yeah.
messaging, at, the delivery. I would kind of look at it slightly different, and I would listen, or analyze, like, things like reviews, because maybe they say, oh wow, they always give me a glass of wine when I'm getting my hair done, or something where AI can pick up the trends. And when I say analyze reviews, I mean copy and paste that shit right into the GPT Claude and say, what what's the word? I know with Relto, our virtual staging, virtual renovation app, I went on Reddit, and on the realtors subreddit, typed in virtual staging, and everyone's always bitching and moaning about virtual staging. So I literally just copied down the, highlight all, Command A, Command C, Command V, right into ChatGPT. And then it gave me like, okay, these are, you know, some of the problems. These are some of the requests or the wants or the needs. I literally didn't even read all of it. Copy, put that into Claude Code. I said, give me your thoughts on this. What can we implement? And then it pushed back a thing, and it basically said like, okay, these are the low effort high wins. These are the medium effort medium wins. You know, and so on and so forth. So I think, what would you call that? Like uh, audience, like social listening, is that what you like, you know? But I think that would be like a
Yeah.
good way to spy.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what level they're doing it at, because it could honestly just be word of mouth. Like they might just have more friends than you, and so in that case, like go to more networking events or whatever. Like genuinely, I went to a an opening the other day for a wellness center, and there were so many people there, and I was like, "Oh, it's so great that they got them here." It was their entire family. They just had a family of like 25 people in Jacksonville, and I was like, "Okay, this is sort of like there's LinkedIn, like those Discord groups where they're like, hey, I posted this on LinkedIn, and then they have like 5,000 people commenting, but it's all just like an echo chamber. It's the same thing. It's like, great, you had a ton of people at the launch. No one videoed it, no one knows about it, but cool. You had a lot of people. Great. You feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so let me show you this real quick. This is what I was talking about. It's called Cassidy, I believe. I forgot what it's called actually in the last 2 seconds. But it's called Cassidy, okay? And you can basically create your own AI agent. And honestly, I might do a video on this, but you can build a workflow where each week an AI agent automatically scans your list of competitors, okay?
That's cool.
Um, yeah, and it'll do, like you said, customer reviews. It'll do their LinkedIn post. It'll do their social media in general, and
Yeah,
it'll turn into a weekly summary that goes to your email or your Slack. Okay. Um, so
that's
yeah,
kind of cool.
yeah. So it's called Cassidy AI that you can basically create this agent and use Claude to do it. Um, yeah, looks pretty sick to be honest.
Hmm.
But yeah, I just saw that. So try out what we said. If you want to get super crazy with it, go to Cassidy AI. Try to figure that out. I might be doing a video on that pretty soon, but make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. We take time out of our day to come here and tell you what we're learning about in AI, not for ourselves, but for you guys. So just hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button to get in that algorithm. We got to get in that algorithm. Like this is the algorithm is like a stream, right? It's like a stream, and we want to get in that waterfall way down there, but
Hmm.
it's hard for us to get in the stream because we need to be pushed. We need a little bit of it's you have to know someone to get into the stream, right? And so if we have enough people like pushing us forward in this expedition, right now we can't even see the stream. We can't even see it right now. We're not even in the algorithm. So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, share it with one person, and they'll double our growth every single episode. And in 20 episodes, we'll have 1 million followers. So um, if you're listening to this, don't be that person that holds it to yourself. Okay, Chad. Any final words that we need to maybe wrap it in a bow?
Um, not that I can think of. I know on our next episode, I definitely want to talk about local SEO and kind of how to hack
Right.
that system. But I think that'll be a good reason to listen into the next one because that is epic.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of people that are like, yeah, we're working on SEO in 2026. I'm like, whatever. Um,
Exactly.
so
Go,
so we'll
go
see.
write another blog post.
Right, right. That is like 20 words long, but it has it's just like St. Augustine, Jacksonville, Ponte Vedra,
Yeah, right.
Med Spa does
You
blank,
know,
and then they'll write another one with a different place, and it's like, bro,
yeah, that would be like the equivalent of like when the search engines were first taking out and people would like put in like keywords and white text like to blend in. So I
mm.
think that's really where like keywords are going because Google's getting smart, guys.
Or
Google's getting
China
smart.
Chinese stores would put or Chinese restaurants would put best China restaurant, because like their name was Best China Restaurant, so that it would show up first on the keywords.
Oh, that I didn't. Huh, that's never sleep on an Asian entrepreneur.
On the Chinese, yeah, 100%. We should not, because you know what they say: you go to sleep on a win, you wake up with a loss. But we'll talk to you guys next time. Thank you guys for joining us. We will be um marketing our lives a little bit more. Today was just sort of like a run through, but we dropped a banger, and so we'll see you guys on the next ep.